How have you learned to give better advice when people ask you for help?
I think I've learned two things about giving better advice recently, one of which is that, of course, I want to start with where that person actually really needs it. And so oftentimes I find that people are seeking advice in a really broad, general way, but they really have something very specific either they want or need or really are worried about, that like the general question with which they start is not about really what matters to them. So I'll start by asking them really like, is that really your most specific question? Just being super direct. So I have the privilege of having lots of young social entrepreneurs seek advice from me and anyone else who's been a social entrepreneur who's like still perceived to be young, although at 32, I don't know that I would count in that category, but nonetheless, I get to meet with these young people and talk to them about what they're trying to do. And oftentimes I'm surprised that their first question is like, so how should I become a social entrepreneur? Or how could I become a social entrepreneur? And that's a good question on some level, but it's also an incredibly general question. It doesn't tell me anything about who they are, what they care about. So I've learned to just, in giving advice, instead of answering that question like broadly, which I might have done 8 years ago, instead just spend a lot of time trying to actually understand what they care about and then give advice. And it turns out they actually like have a specific idea and they want to get it going, and it's a for-profit social mission business, which is totally different than the direction I might have taken the answer. And so I can then hone my advice much more specifically. And then the other thing I have learned about giving advice is just to try to learn something from the people that are seeking it, because a lot of times, in addition to actually them having a more particular agenda they want to accomplish that they might not feel comfortable stating, there's a lot that they actually know already.
Right.
And so going in and just using the time selfishly too to learn from them, and in turn hopefully just be better at giving advice.